Let's see, switch that. Tell me how funky is your chicken now? Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Let me see you get away, get away. Okay, so I haven't found a home for my tree yet. I honestly, this is like my first time really down here today. Um, I got a bunch of plants for Mother's Day, so I was I was repotting a few of the plants that I received for Mother's Day. But I do have a vision for this. I think I want to push it back. I don't think I'm going to have it on this main table. I think I'm going to have it set up on its own little table back here. Like around here, even if I like move this over again and maybe cover this. I don't really need that exposed. I needed a lighter to light the candles. Damn. So I didn't do that. I still haven't made a single candle yet, although now I have all of the things, so I really have no excuse. But tomorrow, on Mondays, I usually have therapy, but she canceled. So maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow after I drop the kids off from school. I'll like... Sorry, this is like probably really excessive and it still didn't burn. Not Nanwick. What the hell? Okay, well. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. But that's okay. We do have this candle. I guess that should suffice. Oh no. Bruh. These candles are womp womp. Bitch, if you would have made your own, you wouldn't have had this issue. Okay, whatever. We've got one candle going. We've got the incense going. I had started to share this and then I didn't finish, so let me do that. I appreciate the like. Hey y'all. How goes it on the other side? Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. Seem to be home. Hello from the outside. Okay. I think... Oh no, I need to send it to the chat. Whoops. Whoops. Yep. Okay. I did that. So I'll wait a few more minutes to see if anyone filters in. Don't forget to say something to me in the comments, so that way, if you are an MJ's Garden member, I can give you your raffle ticket that will be drawn at the end of the month. Last month, no one claimed, so make sure you guys are keeping your tickets because I'm not, unless it's the virtuals, I'm not keeping contact. I'm not keeping contact. I'm not keeping track, excuse me. So make sure that you do have your ticket. That way, when we pull it, if a number does come out and it's not your name, you'll have your ticket number. The ticket number is very imperative to winning the raffle. Very imperative. Very, very, very imperative to winning the raffle. You definitely need to have your raffle ticket. How was everyone's Mother's Day? What did everyone do? What did everyone get? How is everyone? I was supposed to say it's Friday. But it's not Friday. That's that song though. It's Friday, Friday, party and yeah. I was just hoping to Maybe a little appetizer before. Hi, friend. How are you? How was your Mother's Day? How was your Mother's Day weekend? How was the farmer's market, dude? How was that? All of the things before we get started. I did say that we were going to start at like 9-ish, so I mean, we're 5 minutes early, so we can have a little. Bruh. And it's still so nice outside. Dude, the garden's like turning into a garden, and I'm actually really, really excited about this. Like, damn, I'm not ready for bed. I could actually go for bed, honestly. I won't even hold you. It's been like a long weekend. I can't even just say like a long day. It's been like a long weekend. Not that it's been like a bad weekend, but I feel like I've done more. Excuse me. I feel like I've done more this weekend than I like would in a normal weekend, because usually I'll just like sit at the house, but I was really like, ow, ow. Dude, wait until you see it. Like, there's so many plants and fucking flowers now. And the tree, I haven't found a home permanently yet for the tree. I was saying earlier that I don't think that I'm going to keep it on the table, though. I think I'm going to, like, move it back so it's not, like, I don't know. Dude, literally, April showers bring May flowers. It's like it rained for a while, and this can be taken, like, metaphorically, if that's the right word, or like the word verbiage that I'm looking for, excuse me. But April showers bring May flowers. Like, there's been a lot of, like, grief and, like, just turbulence and just a lot of emotions throughout the collective few months for, I think, everyone. So to see these flowers now, it's just, I don't know, a reflection of our tears, our seeds that we've planted. They didn't go to waste. Everything's growing now, and we just had to wait for the summer. The summer and the spring. But I went to so there's a flea market like literally down the street from my house that we've never gone to. We've driven by it like every day. I drive by it every day. But we decided to go today, and I'm so glad that we did. There's a spiritual shop in there. Well, there's two. But the one that I really liked was like when you first walk in. And I need to go back. We need to go back collectively. We need to take a PGST fucking field trip one Saturday morning. And go. Because that shit was fucking... I need to go back when I don't have kids with me. Although the kids weren't bad, I won't even hold you. Like, I'm not saying that they were, like, distracting guests, but bad, no. But I'll have to go in there when I don't have any kids. For sure. Dude, literally, yeah, it is the growth. It's a direct reflection of the growth. And I had to repot some of them. Well, like, I got 6 pots today when I went to Ollie's. Oh, fun fact, in case anyone wanted to know or cared. Potting soil. So they have these, like, miniature bags. I think they're probably... Okay, that's probably not the right... You get what I'm saying? But, like, the smaller bags at Dollar Tree for $5, right? But if you go to Ollie's, they have the big Gino bag for $5. So save your coins, get more soil, and go to Ollie's. This is not a sponsored ad. By Ollie's. It is, though, by Blazy Susan. Make sure you check out the Blazy Susan website, blazysusan.com, and use promo code PrettyGirlSmoke2 at checkout. That way you can get 10% off of your order. And your contribution helps the garden. Help us grow. Help us continue to grow. Excuse me. And if I said all of that way too fast for you, take a screenshot of this little lovely screen or whatever you want to call it, but the barcode right there, if you scan it, you can get the links to all of our things. So our Facebook, our Amazon storefront, Lazy Susan's link, excuse me, our Facebook chat, our Facebook group. What else is there? Our Twitch. We're on Twitch. We're everywhere. Where in the world is MJ's Garden? Anywhere you want us to be. Okay, are we ready? What chapter are we on? Oh, before I even deep dive into what chapter we are on, the book. Oh no. Imperfect by Kat Floridia. All rights reserved, including the right to reproduce this book or any portions thereof, in any form whatsoever without written permission, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical articles or reviews. This is a work of non-fiction regarding true events. To protect the privacy of some of those depicted, names and identifying characters were modified. The dialogue was recreated from the author's recollection of events. This book contains mature content that may be difficult for some readers, including substance abuse, alcohol use, and sexual violence. Reader discretion is advised. I think it is chapter 5. Let's see. Honestly, go to where I did the lasting impression was the last chapter that we read. Was it? Yeah, because I did the... Yep, okay. So the darkest hours is the next chapter that we are going to embark on, and that is on page 69. Oh no, sorry, hold on. The way this fucking lit. No bueno. Scooby snack, sorry. These blunts, boy. I tell you what. There we go. Okay. During my earliest years until about 8, my father and sister shielded me from the reality of my mother's mental health struggles. But when I was 9, I felt as though a negative switch flipped inside her. That year, 2001, the sudden death of my cousin triggered a sharp and devastating decline in my mother's mental state. At the time, I couldn't fully understand the extent of her transformation, but the signs were unmistakable. Her behavior became more erratic and distant. She withdrew from me, lost focus, and seemed more emotionally disconnected from all of us. I could also... That's crazy, as we're talking about... Sorry, it's Mother's Day, and this, excuse me, with her mama. Oh my goodness, hold on. Let me X this out, so... Okay. I could also sense that her profound deterioration drove my father and sisters further away. Over the years, my mother grappled with the challenges of motherhood, and our family learned to navigate the ebb and flow of her good and bad days for what they were worth. She battles depression and has long struggled with addictive tendencies. At various points, she developed dependencies on extreme weight loss, anorexia, compulsive long-distance walking, alcohol, and prescription medication. While writing my memoir, I discovered my mother had a difficult childhood due to the loss of her parents. Her mother passed away just at 27 years old. Her father was killed at 40. These devastating losses struck my mother when she was only 7 and 18, respectively. Her father's physical abuse and mother's neglect also left deep emotional scars, making it nearly impossible for her to heal from the traumas of her childhood. As a result, she never developed emotional resilience or the understanding of compassion needed to be a nurturing mother. My family became fed up with her illness and insufficiencies. One by one, they distanced themselves, leaving me as the last person who somewhat believed in her ability to preserve and overcome her demons. Between the ages of 15 and 18, I was thrust into adulthood. Sorry, I need to get myself together. While most of my peers navigated high school with typical teenage concerns, I was learning how to care for my mother because no one else would. She had been abandoned by everyone except me. And at the end of the day, I held on to my truth that she was my mother, and that was enough for me. The next 4 years played out like an unsettling movie in my household, dark, disjointed, and painful. Have you ever witnessed a relative have you ever witnessed a relative seep into their lowest despair to the point where they're almost non existent? Have you ever stared into the face of someone barely clinging to life? Close your eyes, picture yourself at a funeral, standing over a casket. The room is hushed. Your loved one lies cold and pale. Now open your eyes. You're not at a funeral. You're in your mother's bedroom. And she's not gone yet, but she's on the verge. Her body is frail, her breath shallow, her presence flickering like a candle in the wind. And this isn't a moment. This is your everyday. Years of waking up to grief that hasn't finished arriving. Years of mourning someone who's still alive. Years of speculating whether your mother would live to see another day. Years of speculating whether you would survive. It's important to remember that my mother rescued the imperfect me when I was 18 months old. Now, it was my turn to repay the favor and help rescue her. My mother was instrumental in keeping my light bright at a young age, and it was up to me to ensure her light was restored. This quest was not an easy one. I had to create a path for my mother. Oh my goodness, hold on. Lauren! Hold on, I'm going to send her the link. Bruh. Wait, no. Hold on. Sorry for the brief interruption. Wait a second. How come it's not popping up on my thing? Hold on. Oh, she's probably definitely calling me for Mother's Day. Just a second. uh, Hold on. YouTube / at PGST, right? Yeah. Underscore MJs. Sorry. Brief interruption. Okay. This quest was not an easy one. I had to create a path for my mother to strive to be 1% better each day and to recognize the steadfast commitment could lead to a remarkable achievement. In high school, I started to rebel a bit. What teenager doesn't? I grew tired of being in special education classes. The environment was nothing like the classrooms I had experienced in elementary or middle school. Instead of learning, we spent our time playing games with no real educational purpose. It was a joke. I couldn't comprehend why I had to endure bullying from peers outside of the program while feeling I didn't within it. Excuse me. After countless tears and heartfelt pleas, my parents finally arranged a meeting with the vice principal and the special education staff. My parents advocated for me to be removed from the program. That meeting was tense, but in the end, I was unenrolled and allowed to attend traditional classes with the rest of the student body. As my story continues, I'll leave it up to you as the reader to determine if this was the most sensible decision for my grades and ultimately my future. Adapting to regular classes proved far more difficult than I had anticipated. I couldn't fully invest in my education while burdened with the weight of hidden turmoil at home. Each day, I would leave school only to return to the haunting sight of my mother's seemingly lifeless body. The world has a cruel way of reminding us that trauma doesn't simply fade. It lingers and is etched into our senses. A familiar sound or scent can awaken memories we thought were once buried. For me, the smell of Greek yogurt or a loud thud triggers memories of my mother's darkest hours. During my mother's stoopers, Greek yogurt was her go-to meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She ate it like a kid, licking the lid in her fingers while taking large, messy spoonfuls that occasionally spilled onto the bed and on the floor. The mess was a result of her being high on whatever pill she was taking that day. For weeks, the smell of Greek yogurt lingered throughout the house, making me gag. To this day, the mere scent of Greek yogurt turns my stomach, and I still find it difficult to eat. As for the loud thud, imagine your mother barely being able to stand on her own 2 feet and diving head first into a wall, causing blood to drip down her forehead. Crash, boom, bang. Oh no. The young, imperfect me would stand in the hallway and ask, "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm fine, I just tripped," my mother would mutter. My father would shake his head in frustration and sarcastically said, "Yeah, sure, you just tripped." My mother would search for anything to grab hold to try to maintain her equilibrium. Oh, she would shuffle her feet. Sorry, that was awful, and and not even worth it because I didn't even hit anything but fucking Scooby snacks. Oh, let me see. She would shuffle her feet, swaying back and forth because she would be so far gone in her stupor that she had no stability. There were even times she crawled on the floor like a toddler with glassy eyes and unkempt hair to get around the dark. In the dead of the night, I would keep my bedroom door cracked open to make sure she was okay. Thud, thud, thud. My mother, in the state of impairment, had a tendency to fall in the bathroom when attempting to stand and maintain her balance. The noise was deafening. I could hear her toiletries fall into the floor as she scrambled to regain her composure, reaching for anything in arm's length. Moments later, I would hear my father's heavy footsteps echo down the hallway, each step pulsing with irritation. I knew it was next, his sharp, raised voice yelling at her, not out of concern, but out of anger. I'll be the first to admit he failed when it came to caring for my mother. He was checked out at that point in their marriage. My dad had only had so much patience and had grown tired from the countless years of my mother's drama and turbulent tendencies. I believe there are many of us who lack the skills, education, and knowledge required to recognize and comprehend someone's mental health illness. He coped with her by lashing out at her verbally. I can't say that I blame him. She can be quite difficult to deal with. When frustrated, he would raise his voice and hurl insults at her. "Look at yourself. Do you think Kat wants to see you like that? Like this? Pathetic," he would say. Then he would bend down behind my mother, slide his arms under her armpits, and lift her with care back to bed. They would often exchange curse words because my mother would mumble something under her breath, and my father, already on edge, would snap at the slightest provocation. Excuse me. "Stop taking your bleeping pills. You need help. We cannot live like this," he would screech. "Just go." "You don't care about me. I don't want to be here anyway," my mother would reply in tears. Each night, a piece of my soul died. I would close my door slowly and lay awake in bed. My father would slam my mother's bedroom door so hard it would shake the house. Let's pause. I don't want to give you the wrong impression of my dad. He is a good man. I have a strong and loving relationship with him. His relationship with my mother was complex, and his reactions to her behavior were rooted in long-standing frustration. Over the years, my parents have become more distant, and my father slept on the couch. They were supposed to get a divorce, but the legal paperwork was never signed or processed. My father could never really divorce my mother anyway because he's a religious man who believes a marriage is a union for life, for better or for worse. Samantha was 16 and I was 13 when our parents sold our childhood home. This was my mother's undertaking. She then asked my father to move out, and he moved in with relatives. He couldn't afford child support, so my mother received all of the money from the sale of the house and assumed responsibility for raising us. The money was quickly drained from my mother's account by purchases of mysterious pills and shopping at QVC. Her erratic habits continued. Samantha was fortunate to have friends who saved who saved her from our mother's unstable conduct by giving her somewhere to escape. I, on the other hand, remained tethered to the house, burdened with the unspoken duty of tending to our mother's well being. Though I was the only one who offered my mother unwavering care and support, I was never her favorite. She always leaned towards Samantha and my older sister. And while it may be common belief that parents do not have a favorite child, actions speak louder than words. Samantha had a plethora of advantages, including a bigger bedroom, flat screen TV, the newest cell phone, special treatment, anything she wanted. My mother attempted to buy Samantha's love, hoping she would become an ally. Unfortunately for both of us, she never realized she already had one in me. Samantha possessed the ability to manipulate my mother to obtain what she desired before escaping to freedom. When Samantha wasn't around, my mother would make an effort to contact my oldest sister in hopes of rebuilding their relationship. I felt defeated. I often bottled up my emotions, causing me to hide and cry in pain. I was the sole person who showed both concern for her and faith in her. I was the only one who stood by her, though she never realized it. I questioned if there was something amiss with me and why I wasn't enough. It's normal for us to experience moments of despair. It's all right to feel fractured. I've learned it's acceptable to not be okay all the time. It's acceptable to be vulnerable. It's acceptable to express your emotions and cry your heart out. My life story is my story. Each of us has a unique story with its own battle scars. However, it's up to us not to let our trauma define us. That's so true, because literally we all have a story. We all have a story, and it's like if you sit down and like take the time to like listen to someone else's story, you'll realize that it's like 9 times out of 10 like probably the same. Okie dokie, sorry. My little sidebar tangents. In high school, the athletic department became my sanctuary, a place where I could belong despite my disability and inability to make a team. Thanks to the athletic director, I was introduced to several coaches who oversaw the women's basketball, soccer, softball, and lacrosse teams. They welcomed me to their programs and appointed me as team manager, entrusting me with the responsibilities such as maintaining stat logbooks for individual players during games and assisting with drills during practice. Although the players were always kind and respectful, I wasn't one of them, and that divide shaped the nature of our interactions. However, I developed a strong relationship with the coaches and the athletic trainers who treated me as a vital part of their team. They held me to the same standards as the players, expecting me to show up for practice and board the bus on time for away games. It gave me a sense of purpose. I felt as if I was contributing to something that mattered and was bigger than myself. One of the biggest obstacles I faced was allowing athletics to take precedence over my education. As a result, my academic performance suffered. Looking back, I realized that sports offered me a rare sense of freedom and an escape from the difficulties I was experiencing at home. It became an outlet, my refuge, even if it came to the cost of not achieving good grades. My thought process was if I wasn't excelling in academics or making a significant difference at home, why should I not be entitled to participate in something that I thoroughly enjoyed, like the athletic teams? I was never taught how to study or given the support I needed if I struggled. Instead of offering guidance, some teachers would simply give me a D plus and wash their hands of me. There was no further mentoring from them. In traditional classes, I noticed there were very, very few teachers willing to go that extra mile. Rather than offering support, they chose to share gossip about their students openly among their colleagues. It's hard to differentiate who's worse, the so-called adults or the mean, tight-knit student cliques. Ain't that the truth? The truth. I'll never forget the day I walked into math class wearing long capris, only for a teacher to notice my prosthetics. She murmured something under her breath, then drifted into the corner, arms crossed, leaning against the wall as she whispered loudly to the teacher's aide, seeing my Hold on. Let me read that again because I stumbled. Okay. Leaning against the wall, she whispered loudly to the teacher's aide about seeing my prosthetics for the first time. The look they shared said more than words ever could. I sat quietly with my head down, pretending to work on the class assignment, attempting to suppress the tears as best as I could. This behavior on the day, their behavior on the one day I had the smidge. I was just about to say that because you had said previously that you didn't like wearing like shorts or anything like that because it would bring attention. Their behavior on the day I had a smidge of confidence to try on capris left me degraded. It was another brutal reminder of the world's cruelty and how difficult it is to feel comfortable in my own skin. It rekindled memories of my youth in the park where mothers first noticed my prosthetics and doubted my abilities. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Probably should have just read. It deepened my despair that the world would never accept me. Could I get a break? Could somebody love me for me? Could somebody accept me as I am, regardless of my flaws? My hardships and inner turmoil were beyond anyone's understanding. The slightest stare or comment would have a profound effect on me. As I grew up, I mastered the art of suffering in silence, learning to carry pain inward, and keep it hidden. Over time, criticizing myself turned into a habit. It became impossible to silence the harsh negative voices in my head. Our own self-criticism is a product of our surroundings. No one ever knew of the personal surges and retreats I experienced daily, nor did they care to inquire about or monitor my well-being. The questions, "How are you doing, Kat? Seriously, how are you?" were never really meant for me. I feel that. Neither was offering a simple hug. The smallest gesture or acknowledgement could have conveyed they saw me and were here for me. Instead, I carried the weight of resilience alone, tasked with staying strong, not just for myself, but also for my mother. Unaware of the depth of their abandonment, my father and my sisters and my mother left behind, in doing so, left me too. Being responsible for my mother was a burden. I had everything to lose, and the only thing I clung to was a fragile hope of my mother's recovery. I felt like a small sloth hanging from a tree, slowly moving, trying to climb and survive. We were impoverished, even though my dad will never admit it. We had a childhood home. My mom chose to sell it and blow through the money. We lived in subsidized housing after getting evicted from multiple apartments. We had state health insurance. We qualified for food stamps, but my father was too proud to use them. He found it embarrassing. He preferred to ask friends and family for assistance. We barely had enough to eat in the house. I would rummage for a few crumpled dollars to buy a snack at school. 4 long and audacious years I endured circumstances forced upon me. The burden I carried was immense. Trapped in the immediacy of each moment, I found myself unable to envision what the future might hold. A typical day for me looked like wake up tired, skip breakfast, search for a few bucks hoping I could eat, put a brave face on, find a way to school, pretend to concentrate in class, attend a team activity, and eventually return home to check my mother and tidy up the house. It was exhausting, but it had to be done. I wrestled with my own imperfections, burying emotions to stay strong for my mother. I never knew what version of her I would find when I walked through the door. Most days, I was confronted with her limp body, surrounded with pills scattered everywhere. Opening the bedroom door was daunting, as the air was thick with the sharp, sour stench of Greek yogurt, body odor, and God knows what else. A palpitation. Is that how? I don't even know if I'm saying that. A palpitation would grip my chest. Yeah, I said that right. Would grip my chest, and my thoughts would race. I would yell, "Mom, Mom, Mom," until she muttered something. I knew she was still alive. She hated water and refused to stay hydrated, leaving her mouth parched and her lips split and peeling. As a result of being under the influence and lacking self-care, her appearance was that of disheveled, frictional crazed, wild-looking scientist wearing pink pajamas. I still carry a vivid recollection of finding my mother unresponsive throughout my teenage years. Her face was bruised and discolored, her body curled on her side, her left arm dangling over the edge of the bed, pill bottles scattered across the floor in silent witness. A single thought pierced through my mind: this is it. This is the end. Tears blurred my vision as panic surged. I fumbled to call my dad. She's finally pushed herself. Had she finally pushed herself past the brink of no return? I collapsed in the chair. I collapsed in the chair in the living room, consumed by grief, unable to do anything but cry while waiting for my father to arrive. On his way, he dialed 911, but by the time he arrived, the ambulance was already there. I watched as the emergency personnel rushed into her room, their voices sharp and urgent, calling her name again and again, desperate to pull her back. Then came the moment I'll never forget. Paramedics wheeling her past me in the gurney, her body motionless, but with shallow breathing. Helplessness washed over me, leaving me numb. I felt as though the world had stopped moving, except for them carrying her away. As I reflect, I ask myself, why didn't I do more? Why wasn't I smarter? Why did I just sit there weak in tears? Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe there was nothing more that could have been done. My mom survived that crisis, but the hospital required her to enter rehabilitation. She spent many years moving in and out of different facilities. My dad and I were the only ones who visited her. Each rehab center presented its own challenges, and visiting was often difficult for me because the facilities housed a wide range of patients. Many were dealing with not only substance abuse, but also with other serious mental health disorders, which made the environment unpredictable and overwhelming. But I stayed strong and kept visiting her. Unfortunately, the vicious cycle never stopped. The ambulance became a familiar presence, almost as if they were on speed dial. She would overdose on pills. She would undergo another psychological evaluation in the emergency room, an experience she despised, convinced the physician who saw her time and time again had something against her. She would be transferred to a rehab facility. She would be discharged, come home, only to relapse once more. I was the parent. I never truly had a mother. I had a patient. At times, it felt as though I completed a residency, caring for her day after day. Perhaps I could have pursued a career in medicine because I had lived it. Over the years, I tried to reshape how others saw my mother, hoping to soften their judgment of her, even as I struggled how society perceived me. I can't say I succeeded, but I knew that I didn't want my mother to be defined by her illness or condemned by others. My hope was that she would just get better. Despite my efforts to care for my mother, she often directed her frustration towards me when her mood darkened or she sank deeper into her stupor. My mom once yelled at me from across the other side of the house, "I wish you'd get hit by a car and die," a memory forever etched in my head. You would think that would have been my final straw. However, it's not easy to give up on someone who finds comfort in their own brokenness. No matter how she treated me, I couldn't resist the urge to care for and protect her. For God's sake, she is my mother. During her worst overdoses, she lashed out not only at me, but also to the medical staff. A behavior that never worked in her favor. Hello. She would end up restrained with an officer stationed outside her door, something later I understood was a part of being placed on suicide watch. After she sobered up, I would visit and the staff would release her from her restraints. They refused. I would visit and ask the staff to release her from her restraints. They refused. I would ask them to turn the television on for her, but instead they entered her in a room to remove the phone and strip away any wires. I remember voicing my outrage, convinced they were being unreasonable. At the time, I was still so naive, unable to fully grasp the gravity of the situation. I felt obligated to defend my mother because no one else would. It was my nature to defend those I care for, even when I forgot to guard myself. At the same time, I recognized that my struggle was not only for protection, but for the love and but for her love and acceptance. In the midst of another overdose, I remember calling 911 and telling the dispatcher I thought my mother had accidentally taken too many pills. I couldn't fathom telling the dispatcher that she had intentionally overmedicated herself. I sat beside my mother on the bed, cradling her as she trembled, disoriented and aware of where she was. I tried to reassure her, whispering there was nothing to worry about, and I told the dispatcher it was an accident and that she had simply taken too many pills. My father stood in the doorway, shaking his head in frustration, and said, "Kat, they're never going to believe that. Look at her. Pathetic." He asked my mother how many more times she had planned to put the family through this cycle. I ignored him. To me, it seemed cruel to keep striking at someone who was already broken, fragile, and down. My mother remained at the center of everything, even when her awareness faded and her eyes grew vacant. Her personality, addiction, and illnesses invoked the attention she seemed to crave. Oh shit. I never thought of it like that. It's ironic that while my mother was on suicide watch at the hospital, no one was aware I had suicidal thoughts. What was the purpose of my presence and what did my future hold? How was I supposed to prosper? Why would I ask for help from me? My miserable existence eroded by constant stares, pointing fingers, and cruel, debilitating comments stripped away my sense of identity. No one truly understood the weight of my mother's many disorders placed on my mind, my grades, and the entire course of my high school years. Is there a genuine person in your life that you can trust in times of need? Is there someone who you know without a doubt will be there for you? If there is, cherish them, because not everyone is fortunate enough to have someone that they can depend on. I am dependent on me, myself, and I. I'll continue to show up for myself. I'll continue to show up for those who need me with the belief the favor will never be reciprocated. Clock that. Literally, that's literally how I feel too. Like, especially in terms of like giving. Like, you gotta give without expecting that shit back. So if someone asks you for $20, like, you just gotta either give it to them or like don't. Like, you just, but don't expect that back. I've come to terms with it, and I'm content with it. Sometimes it's easier to opt for peace. We may not all find that one person, but we can still be that one person for others. At the start of my junior year, I began thinking about a 4-year college. To my dismay, my guidance counselor implied that I was only not worthy. Who the hell was your guidance counselor? Sorry. To my dismay, my guidance counselor implied that I was only worthy of community college, which was fine for some, but I had higher aspirations. Her negative comments became the driving force behind my determination to improve my grades. Why is it always one asshole teacher? Like, if you don't like your job, then don't opt to become a teacher. Like, why are you? That's annoying. She never believed in my potential. It's paradoxical that for some who worked in education and are we're on the same fucking wavelength. In education and was responsible for guiding students, she wasn't very proficient at it. She was no different than the countless others who doubted and underestimated me. With a single glance at my falling grades, she decided that she had me all figured out. To me, it was as though she should be fired for her lack of support because I wasn't her prized AP student. Really? How dare she? This woman got under my skin. Regardless of a student's academic records, counselors should actively engage in their education by offering encouragement, providing assistance, connecting them with resources, and instilling hope. After all, a true purpose of working in education is to nurture and empower the future leaders of tomorrow. Isn't that what it's all about? See? Yeah, we're literally on the same page. Because why Why go into the field? My guidance counselor dismissed me as insignificant, urging me to only do the bare minimum to make it to graduation. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. To judge superficially is to invite unfairness and to overlook the genuine value within a person. I did not take this moment lightly. I ignited my mental resilience. Whenever I found myself on the verge of defeat, I drew strength from God, who empowered me to fight back. My objectives became clear: to attend a 4-year college and prove my guidance counselor and anyone else who doubted my individual worth that no one should judge another or underestimate their will. I had to find my own pendulum balance. While writing my memoir, my mother expressed that she could have done better. My response was simple yet profound. She couldn't have done better. She couldn't have done better. One individual's illness is something that belongs to one individual's illness is something that belongs to all of us. And then the closing, like, little page, it says, hang in there, the imperfect you. You never know when your unwavering dedication and selflessness will be the guiding light for someone in need. Always remember, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. So for the ink your thoughts, use the space below to write freely. Have you prioritized someone else's needs over your own? Was it a positive or negative experience? Did you lose part of yourself in the process? The second question is, can you recall a time when proving naysayers wrong became a source of motivation? Did you feel confident in yourself? Were you proud of yourself for standing strong? And then the last question is, have you ever felt abandoned? Where did it happen? Work, school, home, etc. Describe your feelings, explain your journey and through it. Insane that we read that on Mother's Day. I don't know. I keep going back to, I wonder if it was that generation. I should probably ask you how old your father is, just to, like, maybe, like, actually compare. But I just feel, I don't know, why are they like that? In terms of, like, not that, like, the empathy. I feel like a lot of that generation, the men just, like, lack that. I don't know. I could be wrong or just generalizing, but I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I appreciate you guys hanging out and reading that with me. Mother's Day. I feel like I should. Can I do this without knocking anything down? Yeah, dude. I saw this deck at the flea market at that spiritual store, so we're gonna pull from this one in honor of Mother's Day and all of the mothers and us. Some of us are mothers as well. Not all of us, but to the mother figures. And it's crazy looking back, so reflecting and being a mother. It's crazy, like, our kids, they're gonna grow up one day and see just like how we hello, just like how we see. So just to be the best versions of us, you know, we have to. Because I don't want my kids to, like, be able to know I'm, like, going through. You know? I don't. I feel like it is that generation, though. Because your dad sounds like my dad in terms of like just like angry. That's fucking crazy, dude. Queen Mother Nanny, Liberation, card 37. But like mother, Mother's Day, as we're talking about parents. Do you see all the flowers as we're sitting in the garden that just got mad fucking flowers? Bruh. Dude. See? Dude, again, though, I feel like it's that I don't know. But I feel like, well, maybe, would it be that generation? Would it be all men? I don't want to characterize, but like, it has to start somewhere. Dude, okay, so, alright, so our babies are this, well, no, kinda, so your son is 3, my son's 4, my daughter's 5, and then my son's 6, but like, all the same age. Yeah, I don't, that's, in terms of like the whole generational curses and like having to like break them, like no. And as I'm growing up and realizing and like, and that's the thing, like my parents aren't super open in terms of like sitting and communicating, so you're wondering why a bitch can't communicate. My parents can't communicate. So with that though, I just completely lost my train of thought. I feel okay. I've been reflecting back and like thinking about it. Like my dad grew up in the time of segregation, so he like Ruby Bridges, like how they integrated the schools, the same age frame. So my dad was one of the first to integrate schools in the South. He lived in North Carolina, so I feel like how he raised us and all of the things that were like do like how I am now is because it's like post-slave. Hi, Love Bug. I'm Ashley. I'm assuming you are Kat's sister. Hey, love. Oh shit. Hey, Taylor. But so even just like not like stupid things, but like kind of stupid things, like but like driving and like looking out for cops. I've always been on the fucking like I don't even know why, like be able to just like spot them from like, and I feel like that's the hypervigilance though because of my father back in the day, slave catchers, like they had to be, you know? So just like little things like that in terms, I don't know, just like their trauma that they endured, like I feel like, you know, but it's just like if you are able to nip it, or if you, but no, not even nip it, if you are able to identify it, then you can nip it. Because ain't no like what, and then wondering why the fuck we're out here confused now, like no. Or people want to say, oh, why everyone what is it called, why is everyone being diagnosed with autism now? Because people are going to the doctor and realizing that something might be a little off. And there's nothing like there. I went to go get tested or evaluated. I mean, it took me 34. I'm 34, but I feel like the evaluation said that shit was from childhood. I'm pretty sure my father's autistic. Like maybe if it was identified earlier, I wouldn't, you know, shit wouldn't have, I don't know. See? I'm telling you. I feel like that's why. Okay, hold on. Distracted. Card 37, Queen. Dude, I feel like that's why I can't do arguments or confrontation. Like if anyone starts yelling at me, I instantly shut down. And that is because when growing up, when I would get yelled at, if I were to try to say anything back, that's me talking back. So now, like, and I mean, I know that I'm an adult and like I'm not obviously like talking to my father. Like I can like, but I still no, nope. I still clear as day. Just shut the fuck down. Like I don't. I mean, I'm trying to use my throat chakra. I'm trying to get better, but like, nah, that shit fucking sticks with you. And don't let anyone tell you fucking different. It literally will like mold. Will mold you. But let's see. Okay, 37. Distracted. Goddess of That's funny because my mother is from Jamaica. Okay. Goddess of Liberation. Temple of Queens. Element fire. Queen Mother Nana. But it's not Nana. It's Nani. Well, I don't even know. I'll say Nani because I would say Nana. So Queen Mother Nana. And I say Nana again. Fuck. Queen Mother Nani of Maroons was a spiritual leader, military strategist, and revolutionary. This Ashanti healer was brought to Jamaica in chains and escaped to lead rebellions. Nani helped to free over 800 enslaved people. Break free. Your dreams hold the power and keys to your liberation. You are the freedom itself. Rise up. You deserve to feel free. What do you imagine for yourself? Daring to manifest your dreams is a part of personal liberation. Find your own personal liberation codes and your soul's unspoken desires. Life is too short to live within someone else's story. This is insane, coming right after the chapter that we just read. Whew. Divine blessings and magic are on your side. Enjoying your freedom fully is the best gift to your ancestors. My dreams empower me. Bruh. Damn, dude. And 37. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 equals change. Whew. On Mother's Day. It's a lot to process. A change was gonna come. We didn't go through all of that for nothing. We didn't go through all of that for nothing, and if we were blessed with our own offspring, we're not going to continue. That stops with us. It's not going to continue with us. It can't. Fuck, dude. It's been a while, Miss Abiola Abrams with the African Goddess Rising Oracle. Whew. I'm like, should I? We could. Let's spice it up a little bit. Okay, so that was from the African Goddess Rising Oracle. I'm like, should we? Yeah, we'll do Secrets of the Ancestors. And then we'll close it off with the Hoodoo Tarot. Because I feel like that mother's ancestral history. And starting with that, I feel like I can't just leave. I can't just leave that. This is burning funky. Like, do I have a big enough? Sorry. Because I obviously don't want to roll anything. Queen Mother Nani. With all the flowers. That's crazy. Because no bullshit, I feel like we probably bought like at least 8 plants. Maybe 10. That'd be crazy if it's 10. I'll check before I go up. That'd be wild if it was 10. But let's see. Let's see. Queen Mother Nani. 10. Oh no. Oh my goodness. If you see the way... Oh, you can't see. But the incense, it like... Oh, damn. It burned, but the ash didn't ash. If that makes sense. It just all gathered up. These incense are so suspect. I think I got them from the dollar store. So don't do that. They suck. I've been burning the same stick now, I feel like, for like... days, and it hasn't. It just stops. It will just stop hurting. Secrets of the Ancestors, Queen Mother. The Trickster, Ego, and Excess, 15. Oh, you can't even really see it. The Trickster, 15. Are you... That's... Bruh. Okay. Are you or someone around you making unhealthy Are you or someone around you making unhealthy choices? You feel trapped. Your shadow appears to be in charge. Your vices and fears are in danger of ruining your life. You are the cause of the mess you are in. That may sound like bad news now, but the great news is that you have the key to fix it. The devil is in the details. You are being seduced by unhealthy attachments, your temptations, materialism, addiction. You feel trapped. Life has convinced you that you are powerless. The trickster is terrifying because we fear getting lost within our own indulgences. You've been You've been stuffing down and hiding your shadow self, and your inner dark goddess is not happy about it. Under all of that rage is grief that is calling out to be seen, felt, and healed. Ancestral memory. The ancestral trickster comes forward as a Nasi, the cunning West African spider god. The renowned tempter and mischief maker weaves intricate webs that lure the unsuspecting. Anansi's secret is that he teaches lessons of discernment and consequences. Ancestral medicine. This ancestor can represent depression. If you want something different, you need to do something different. Look beyond your vices. If you need help, get it. The tarot correspondence is the ego. Declaration, I easily release anything holding me back. Excuse me. Wait a second. Wild that chapter was about addiction. Okay. And that was the ego, that tarot correspondence. So we'll read that correspondence from the Hoodoo Tarot. That's crazy. Okay. Last pull. Well, not even really pull, but reference point. The ego. Let's see. Is it not? I need $1. I wonder. $1 is what I need. Hey. As I'm like, well, I'll probably have to like research this then, because I thought that I did my life, but obviously not. I wonder, that would probably be... Honestly, I want to say it would be... The Magician. I'm feeling that it is. Okay. If truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say this to a mountain. Move from here to there, and the move. Nope, that's not right at all. Let me start that all the way over. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say this to a mountain. Move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17:20. The plant is snake root. Black Herman is dressed in a tux. He holds a stick to the sky that says power in one hand and pointing to the Zulu drum peeking out from the Virginia snake root bushes in the other hand. Not Virginia. Benjamin Rucker, 1892 to 1934, aka Black Herman, was the most famous Negro magician in the history of the United States. He adopted the name the Black Herman to pay homage to two fellow black magicians he admired, Prince Herman and Alonzo Herman. Black Herman's charismatic personality, illusions, and resurrections after being buried alive made him a national sensation. Herman also made a living selling tonics, mail order occult courses, books, pamphlets, and talismans that were designed to protect its wearer from the white supremacy. Arguably, one of the most interesting aspects of Benjamin Rucker was how he used his platform to be an entertainer and hoodoo man to promote his militant black nationalist political beliefs. To further facilitate his mission, Herman decided to relocate to Harlem, New York City, which was also ground zero for devout followers of Marcus Garvey. Herman even claimed that he was born in the dark jungles of Africa and was the apprentice of Zulu witch doctors, reflecting both his acceptance of pan-Africanistic ideology, and a knack for clever marketing. But Black Herman was actually a Virginia native who migrated north in search of greater opportunities and had an escape from terrorism in the South. He had self-confidence and a strong will to succeed. That was the magic that made him legend. Meaning, when Black Herman appears in a reading, you are being challenged to make that which you desire manifest. The difference between a dream and a goal is a plan. So make sure you have a clear one. It is key that you know exactly why each step is necessary to obtain your objective. If you do not, you might be tempted to take shortcuts and find yourself shortcut instead. Competent magicians and hoodoo practitioners dazzle others with the results they attain, but the audience and clients rarely, if ever, are around to witness the amount of preparation that is necessary to accomplish the task. The power of creation exists within a focused, methodical, I don't even think I said that right, mind that is aware of itself. If you receive Herman in a reading, consider the following. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Do you really believe it's possible that you can make it happen? Are your talents and skills being put to good use? Do your intentions, beliefs, and desires match the life you live? Stop playing and do what you have to do, even if it's hard. How committed are you to him, her, this, or that? Where there's a will, there's a way. And what are you creating, manifesting, permitting right now? Do you really want that? Well, golly. That was a lot. I won't even hold you. But I feel like that was all good. And it all tied in together. So take what resonates. Leave what doesn't. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Bye.